pleased to be joined now by the MDA's National Youth Chairman, Luke Christie. How are you, Luke?
Great, Isaac. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Thank you so much for being here. So you are the National Youth Chairman for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. How'd you gain that title, that position?
Oh, well, actually years and years of experience in previous positions and just doing the right thing and meeting the right people. Kind of a short, condensed version of my history. I started out with MDA doing a lot of local appearances, working mostly with sponsors right in the area of South Carolina where I live. And in 2003, I was asked to be the South Carolina State Goodwill Ambassador, a role that I did for 3 years. And in 2005, I was profiled to be on the National Jerry Lewis Telethon. And while I was at Telethon, I just kind of hit it off with some of the sponsors and started meeting people and interacting. And shortly after, I was asked to be National Goodwill Ambassador. And so from there, it's just been a progression of roles, and I got to work with all kinds of different sponsors, and it just seemed that the youth chairman position would be a good fit for me, and that's what I ended up starting last year in 2009.
Okay. You said you were the National Goodwill Ambassador. What are the differences in your responsibilities from that position and your current position as the National Youth Chairman?
Well, that's a great question. They're both sponsorship-based positions, which means that I work directly with MDA sponsors. The big difference is, as youth chairman, I work almost exclusively with MDA's youth sponsors. So that's our high school and college age organizations and groups that raise money for MDA and do things throughout the year. So that includes DECA. We also, at the college level, we have Kappa Alpha Fraternity is one of our national sponsors. So anything youth or young adult, any of our groups that are fit in that category, that's who I work with now.
And how can, if our members who are getting ready to graduate and go on to college, or are currently still in high, or are going to continue on in high school, if they have an organization that they want to become a national sponsor, how do they do that?
Well, they would go about contacting MDA. I'm actually not really familiar with the entire process, but you have to have obviously a good program in place for raising money like DECA does. I mean, you've got chapters all over the nation doing great things, raising tons of money, and they would just get in touch with MDA, and MDA would work with them. We have a dedicated staff, members all over the country, and then our national office is out of Tucson, Arizona. So.
Okay, definitely. DECA and MDA have had a great relationship for a number of years now. Our members have worked hard raising and thus contributing a lot of money to the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Why do you think DECA and an organization like ours makes such a great sponsor and supporter for the Muscular Dystrophy Association?
I think it's a combination of a lot of different things. I think first and foremost, DECA brings a lot of energy, a lot of young energy. I mean, you guys are made up of a lot of young high school, and then in the collegiate division you still have, it's still that young adult age where you got an entire future ahead of you, careers on the way, all kinds of exciting things, and there's a lot that you've yet to experience, and we tap into the enthusiasm of where do I go next, what can I do next, and who am I going to meet, and how is it going to affect me personally, and that energy translates into whatever the individual person wants it to translate into. So I think that, like I said, MDA just kind of taps into that and says, look, we're here, and we could be your next step. We could be a part of who you become, which is rooting community service in the ideals of all these young people. So I think it's that young, energetic feel combined with now definitely tradition. I mean, DECA is in its 29th year of partnership with MDA, and I think for especially the new members now, they come into it knowing, oh well, MDA, that's just a part of DECA. That's just a part of who we are. It's grounded now. It's rooted as a part of that tradition, and that makes a big difference. I mean, when you have an established relationship, people know to look for that, and they look into that, and they really get excited. So energy, tradition. I also think that what makes DECA so special is that we have here people who could do just about anything they want to do because they have a lot of experience. They've gotten a lot of that through DECA. They're geared towards careers in business, And let's face it, our business leaders are really the people who are ruling the world, right?
Yeah.
And I think the fact that they can do just about anything they want to do, and they choose MDA, that means a lot to us. And I think that that's what makes DECA work for any organization, but particularly MDA, is we have a lot of potential within our organization, and all we need is somebody to recognize that and say, we want to help you get where you're going, which is obviously to find a cure. And DECA has leaders that are able to push to do that because they have the skills to do that. And that's what's missing in a lot of other organizations is they don't have the skills. They don't exactly know how to push towards a common goal. And DECA does know that because it teaches its members, make a goal, work towards it, and when you achieve it, you will be successful. So.
And you spoke about the vast amount of experiences that DECA members are able to take part in. What has been Luke Christie's most memorable experience thus far with DECA?
Oh, that is tough. Goodness. I would have to say, actually, it's one of my first experiences. And my first ICDC was now 2 years ago in Atlanta. And I will never forget because at this point, or at that point I should say, I had already spoken at lots of conventions and I'd already done a lot of work for MDA. So I wasn't really expecting to be caught off guard when I came in to speak at the general session. And I was. And it goes back to that energy because although I had spoken to groups very similar before, I had never seen quite so many people loud and cheering and excited and into the moment, and then at the same time, like a switch, be able to cut it off and be silent and listen to what I had to say and listen to the awards be presented to those MDA top fundraising chapters, which showed me two things. First of all, you've got a lot of people who are really, really into DECA. That's the excitement part. But you also have a lot of people who have a great respect for community service, and that's the silence, and being able to offer their respect to MDA and give us a few minutes to speak. And I have to say, that was one of my greatest moments because even though I was speaking, which is something that I've done many times before, it took me to a different level and a new place, and I realized there's something special about this organization that hits me right here, hits me at home. So I have to say that's probably my biggest moment. Although there's been a lot of other little steps along the way and amazing people that I've met. Big thing is the time I get to spend in the exhibit hall, the number of people that come up to me and just want to take a picture or get an autograph. It means a lot because it means that those people have paid attention and are wanting to go out and do something great, which is awesome.
Yeah. What does, as our National Youth Chairman, what does, obviously MDA means a great deal to you. Can you tell us what is it? What does MDA mean to you?
MDA means so much. I said in one of my earliest interviews ever, my profile for the Jerry Lewis Telethon, I said if there were only two things in the world that I could have, that I could hold on to, there would be, number one, my family, and number two, MDA. And today, I would have to rethink that a little bit because MDA is my family. So that's not really two things anymore, it's one thing. So now I get to come up with something else that I can take with me, and I don't want to do that now, but if that tells you anything about how MDA has changed my life and affected me, is they have become a part of my family, and they mean as much to me as my parents or my brothers because they are that close and they're that special, and the services that they provide through research, summer camps, and clinics, it's very personal and it's very heartfelt, and you can tell from the MDA employees and from the other MDA families and all the people that help with Telethon and all the sponsors like DECA that they really care. It's not something that, especially for the employees, it's not something that, you know, you put your cap on, you go to work from 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, and then when you go home, it's over with. It's there all the time. It's an energy and a sensation that they really do care all the time, any hour of the day, every hour of the day. And that means everything. It means everything.
Yeah. I know you talked about the Jerry Lewis Telethon. I know that we have DECA members who take part in that every year. And can you tell us just a little bit about your experience with working with the telethon and participating in that, and having DECA members come and present our monetary contributions at that event?
Telethon is something that you really can't describe it. I mean, you really cannot describe it. It's cameras everywhere and lights and this fabulous studio that 3 weeks ago was nothing but a bare ballroom. I mean, it's just like, it's something that is incredibly hard to conjure up in your mind, but it's an amazing experience, and it's something that obviously has been effective throughout the years and is very unique to MDA. And that's something that we take pride in, is because, you know, we have one of the biggest shows on television every year. It's 21 and a half straight hours, and it's cool. It is super, super cool. But as far as the DECA standpoint, always some of the greatest people to work with at Telethon are the sponsors, because pretty much every year they're all new. And especially with DECA, because, you know, your DECA representative is usually like the national president, and then maybe the award recipient for the community service project that year. And that changes every year. And you have a new president every year. So it's a lot of fun for me, having been there several years, to watch like their faces and their reactions when they first see Telethon for the first time and take it in, and just goes, wow, you know, this is awesome. And it's fun for me because I come here, and like I talked about in Atlanta, I had that wow experience at DECA. And it's fun for me to have my friends at DECA have that wow experience at Telethon, because there's a major wow factor, and it's exciting.
I'd be remiss if I let you get away without talking about the MDA signature, the MDA summer camp. I believe I've heard that you participated in summer camp yourself
absolutely.
Multiple times.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I know that that some of our own members have taken it upon themselves to go and be volunteers, counselors that summer camp. Just tell us a little bit about the summer camp experience. I know that MDA has the promotional videos, and that we as members and as an organization have seen those videos on, for some of us, more than one occasion. But can you give us kind of a personal perspective on it from someone who has participated himself?
Sure, absolutely. Well, MDA Summer Camp is it's not just one camp. It's not just 1 week, but it's 90 camps all over the country, and it's 90 weeks, 90 plus weeks, and it's even more than that, because you have all this time that goes into planning camp, and it's just this building momentum. But it feels like 1 week, because it goes back to that family thing. Anybody who participates in MDA summer camp, no matter where in the country it is, they understand and they feel like they've shared something, because MDA summer camp is one of those special phenomena that no matter where you are, it's that same accessible experience, that entire week of no boundaries, no holdbacks, no setbacks. Everything is accessible. All the activities of a normal summer camp, swimming, fishing, horseback riding, arts and crafts, fun and games, adaptive sports, all that stuff is there, but it's available to people who don't always have the opportunities to do those things on a daily basis. Things that I think sometimes others forget. Others forget we don't have the opportunity to go out and throw a football, or to go swimming every day because the pool is not accessible, or there's no way to get us in or out, or et cetera. So MDA Summer Camp breaks down all those boundaries, and they say come for a week and just experience the joy of being free and being able to play like any other kid would, and just have a blast. And I think even more than the activity part of it, you have the relationship part of it and the bonding between the camp counselors, as you mentioned, like DECA members who come in realizing that they're going to help change somebody's life, but not realizing maybe how much, or not realizing how much their own life will be changed by spending a week with one of these kids. And it's like Telethon. It's an experience that is hard to describe, but the difference, I think, is so many more people can experience MDA summer camp than the National Telethon, because just about anybody can be a volunteer. And if people watching this have never been volunteers, I really, really urge them to consider doing that, because it's an experience that will change your life, really.
And one final question for you. Earlier you said that the relationship between DECA and the Muscular Dystrophy Association spans 29 years.
Yes.
Obviously that predates every single member that we have in this organization today. If you could talk to our members, why would you say that that relationship is important to maintain?
Well, I think it's very important because there's the 4 points on the DECA diamond, and one of them is civic consciousness, which we know more today as community service. So clearly, community service is a vital part of the DECA experience and the lifeblood of DECA as an organization. And so I think it's important to maintain some sort of philanthropic relationship, or else you're losing part of the DECA mission. Now, why is it important that it be with MDA and not, say, some other organization? Well, for me, that's simple, because MDA is the best. And,
Not that you're biased or anything.
No, not that I'm biased at all. No, exactly. But I think because as much as DECA can offer us and has offered us through their members and advisors, we can offer them a lot in return, like summer camp, like telethon, like the experiences that we've talked about today. It's a two-way street, and DECA does great things for us, and in return, we hope to try and do great things for DECA. And I think that with that promise, it's important to keep us hanging on. So.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you've been out meeting a lot of our members and doing a lot of work.
Oh, it's been an exciting ICDC. It's really been great. And I love being here. So.
Yeah, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And for DECA Direct, I'm Isaac Robinson.